Hey everybody, it's Kayla Means with Kayla Means Photography again. Hoping to give you guys a quick tutorial today. I've had a lot of great feedback from the last one, which I greatly appreciate. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in. Greatly appreciate that. So today I wanted to give you kind of another edit from this last engagement shoot that I just did a couple weeks back. So currently right now it is not warm and sunny out. It is pretty rainy here in Idaho right now. So it's kind of a really great day to be editing and drinking some hot chocolate or coffee or tea, and I have neither of those in my hand. I've got water. So I actually have a PT test tomorrow for the Army, so I'm hydrating as much as I can, but I mean, it's raining outside tomorrow, so you know, it's gonna be a long one. So okay, let's get back to why you guys all came here, and that's for another tutorial. So with this one, I really wanted to focus on the couple and really bring them forth, kind of like what I did with the canyon. But as I explained in my last video how there was a waterfall, this is where the actual waterfall is. So you can't really see the waterfall from the canyon face, but with a little bit of a 10-minute hike, you can actually go down to the water, and it's pretty cool. A lot of people jump over here. I think it's like, I'll show you guys how crazy tall it is. It's incredible. I mean, I want to say it's 60 feet high. I could be wrong, but it's really crazy. But you can actually walk. There's a trail up here where you can actually walk to the top, so it's pretty cool. Okay, so I went from an image like this, you know, kind of it was a little bit cloudy, but we were in the canyon, so we weren't getting really a lot of a sunlight, but, you know, it was fine, to an image like this. Something that's dark and moody and kind of just, you know, I mean, that's just how I felt when I looked at this image. I wanted something dark and moody instead of like bright and fluffy. I wanted something that really brought them together because they're in that moment. They're in that embrace and hug, and I just knew that I wanted something that could showcase, you know, kind of how I was feeling when I shot them. Like, I just wanted to be like dark and sexy, and I don't know, that's just kind of how I was feeling. So this is all edited in Lightroom. None of it was in Photoshop, and I will go ahead and get started because that's what you guys are here for, and I hate when people ramble in front of videos, and that's what I'm doing. So, okay. So the tools that you guys are going to definitely need are a Lightroom for sure. If you are, you can accomplish this, you can accomplish this edit without the use of presets, but it's kind of hard because that's the kind of feeling I was going for. I needed something that was quick and easy, and I could easily slap it on and tailor it to my liking. So a couple of tools you'll need is, I've got the Visco Pack 6, and I'll show you some of the brushes that come with that, and then from the Tribe Archipelago, however you say that, I use the LXC collection, which is stunning. LXC and the KLN are probably my top favorite ones. So, and probably the LXC is definitely their most popular. So, it's really cool that, you know, they were able to create such a beautiful preset for people to use. So, we'll go ahead and get started. So this is our after, and then this is our before. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to kind of set the tone, kind of set the mood. When I purchased a while ago the Danny Diamond Retouch collection, and I thought I loved it. It's great. I wish I could edit like him, but I cannot do it no matter what, and it's beautiful. But he said this, and it really made sense to me. He told in his video, he said, when you tone your photo, if it's not how you want it, you know, like toning can only do so much. And if you're already not happy with it, toning won't do a difference. You know what I mean? Like if you get an image and you are not happy with it, throwing on a preset or an action or something like that is not going to make you fall in love with it. Like, no matter how much, you're still going to be like, I'm not really feeling it, you know, I'm gonna move on, try something else. So make sure when you guys are working on a photo, like you really love it. You really enjoy it. I mean, there's a couple of things where you can like, okay, well, if I move this hair, I would like it a little bit more, you know, kind of thing. So um, really start working with a photo that you enjoy working with. It will make a ton of difference in your work, and it will really come and show through. If you really love an image, it will definitely show through in your work. So I came over here and I was like, well, maybe I'll do the KLN ones, but a lot of it was just too desaturated, and that's just not what I was feeling. I loved this one, like I love the blue undertones, but I wasn't feeling it just yet. Like that one's really pretty actually. I don't remember if I did anything with that, but a lot of, it's still like a little desaturated. You could totally warm it up and stuff, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stick with the LXC because that's what I used for the rest of it. So, came down here and I was like, okay, 01, that's kind of pretty, you know, like, here, let me go ahead and reset this. 01 is pretty. Little too green for me. LXC2, nah, getting closer. But when I saw LXC3, I was like, yes, that is what I want. More of that bluier with kind of like the orangey. I don't know, for some reason, it was literally what I wanted with the dark and moody. I absolutely loved it. So what I did was I just chose this preset, and then I went in and kind of, you know, made it my own. I was like, well, maybe I want a little bit lighter, so I kind of brightened it up just a tad because I didn't want to lose them, but at the same time, I wanted it to be emotional, you know? I didn't want it to be like super bright where they would be like overexposed. That's just not me. Like, I can't do super overexposed. I like the dark and the moody and the shadows and stuff. So I was like, okay, well, let's do something like that. I can work with that. And then I went and did a radial filter around them. So I went up to my taskbar and I chose radial filter. And I went to where it says exposure. And again, if you buy, I believe if you buy any of the Visco film packs for Lightroom, you do have all these additional things, which I tell you what, it's gonna come into play in a little bit when we use the dodge and burn. You don't need to have a preset to create this, but it really just makes life so much easier and your workflow is just so much more quicker. So I chose exposure. I'm going to invert the mask. That way it just affects the outside. And I really almost want it to look like there's a spotlight on them. Like it's just them, you know? It really was just them, except there was like people around us, but I really want it to look like there was a light on them. A little more of a dramatic, filmy, moody kind of look. And so you just kind of do it to taste, and then I'm going to bump up this exposure just a little bit. Just a vignetting around them. I just really like that. It just draws the attention more towards them. You know? So that, honestly, just doing two things, the LXC preset and then the radial filter has really made a huge difference already. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to dodge and burn the skin using the dodge and burn tools from the Visco Film Pack collection. So I'm going to drop this over because we don't need that anymore, and I'm going to drop that. That way we have a little more workspace to work on. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the brush tool. This is going to drop down. All of our brushes that we need are in here. And guys, I'm sorry if you don't have the Visco. I believe you can just do exposure and maybe, let's see, dodge. Yeah. So if you just bump up your exposure by 0.5, it's the same thing. You just have it in a nice little preset so you don't have to, you know, keep doing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make sure that my feather is blown out. I don't want to create a super harsh line. If it was like this, it would just be very, very harsh, and that's not what I want. So I want to make sure that I am nice and feathered, and to erase quickly from the keyboard is Command Z. I am on a Mac. I'm not sure what it is on an HP. I apologize. So So make sure your feather is all the way open. And I do the same thing in Photoshop. I make sure that my hardness is all the way to 0 because it's so much better when it comes to blending and just makes a huge difference. So, you know, just like makeup artists, you know, with contouring, highlighting, with dodge and burning, you're going to bring out the points of the skin that are bright, you know. And then with contouring or burning, you're going to emphasize like the darkness, and it really, guys, it really makes such a huge difference. And the thing is, you want to be subtle when you do it. You don't want to make it like obvious that you dodged and burned, you know, like it's the same thing with makeup. You don't want to be obviously, except for me, I do like having that obvious highlight. So but everything is subtle, so make sure you guys keep that in mind. And then just to control my brush, I'm just rolling it on the mouse pad. I also have a Wacom tablet, but sometimes it's just too hard for me to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush down her arm, and that's just going to create a light line. I'm going to go again, and I'm just going to go over any of the places that I see light. I'm just going to hit the high points of the collarbone. Be careful around the nose. Sometimes making it, you know, too bright can make it a little much. Yeah, just do it to taste. I'm going to get her ring. When the highlights are kind of blown out like this, just a little, it does make it a little bit harder because I do see some blown out highlights. But at the same time, I'm okay with that. This picture isn't technically, you know, textbook perfect. I'm okay with that. So I'm just going to go and just hit the high points of the cheeks. Okay. All right, so I dodged the skin a little bit, and now I'm going to burn. And I'm going to go there. Then I'm just going to go dark points. And guys, it really does make such a huge difference. I don't really like that there. Let me go Command Z. Maybe blow that out just a little bit more. It just creates more of like a depth, you know? Oops. Try not to get a little crazy with that, but okay. I think I got what I wanted down here, and you can already see that if we go, oops. Come on. There we go. You're going to see that there's so much more depth just by bringing in a little bit more light on the top and a little bit of darkness on the bottom. It really kind of contrasts the subject, which is what we want. That's definitely what we want. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dodge and burn the clothes. So mainly it's going to be his jacket, kind of just bringing out these details down here, like the wrinkles. You really want it to be like a 3D picture, you know? These are 3D people on a 2D plane, and so you really want to bring them forth and make everything, you know, look like they're 3D. So that's where our job comes in when we, you know, Photoshop stuff. Okay. And so I'm actually going to dodge +1, and that's going to bump it up to 0.75. So again, if you don't have the Visco toolkit where it comes with the brushes, you can just bump up your exposure to 7.5. And then you're going to hit, again, the high points. It's where the light would hit, where you see it hitting. Now, I am not an expert with dodging and burning by far, but I've definitely come to realize, like, the more you do it, the more you start seeing the difference it makes. And you start getting better. You start seeing places, like you start seeing images where you're like, I could have dodged and burned that, you know, like that would be beautiful if I just did that. So now I'm taking the burn tool. I'm just coming where I see that dark line, kind of bringing that out. Just down here, shadow. I mean, there's some wrinkles there, but honestly, like, unless it really bothered the client, I'm not gonna remove them. So you see how it really brought out the jacket? Really created that depth right there, which is what I want. Okay. So we dodge and burn the jacket, we dodge and burn the skin. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to soften the skin. It's kind of like a low-level frequency separation. I mean, it's nowhere near what Photoshop can do, but, you know, it's better than not doing anything to the skin. She already has beautiful skin as it is. I just want to create like a little more of a softer airbrushed, because who doesn't want to look, you know, airbrushed and softened and stuff. So hands, make sure not to get any, you know, crazy lines or contour or anything like this. It just really kind of just melds everything together, and that's what I really like. Just because one of these days I really hope that Lightroom, you know, makes like a liquify and all that stuff. But for right now, we're only limited to what we have in Lightroom, so we can't really, you know, create layers and stuff like that, you know, like we can in Photoshop. So it's kind of hard when we are limited. So looks a lot better. I need to warm up his hands just a little bit, but you know what? I think I'm okay with that. So, okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a graduated filter, and really what I want to do is I want to darken this side of the image, the left side, and kind of bring out the right side, because like I said, I wanted it to almost look like there was a spotlight on them, but you know, we didn't. It was all natural light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the corner, and I'm going to bring up my graduated filter towards them. Okay. And then I'm going to go where it says, again, exposure, with clicking these little arrows. And I'm just going to really darken that up, because I really want this side dark. I think about it right there. So 273. Okay. And then I'm going to take an exposure again, go this way. I wish this would stop changing. I'm not really sure how to prevent it from changing, because it's kind of annoying, but it's not too bad. And then I'm just going to bring up the exposure just a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Oops. Sometimes that happens, and you just gotta, I'm just going to delete that. Start again. Again, exposure. I mean, if you wanted to, you could leave it dark like that, but I kind of want it. I like that this was illuminated just a little bit. Is that how our last one looked? Not so crazy intense, but remember, you can always just open up your filter. Bring it down just a little bit, just like that. Okay. So pretty much we're almost done. As you can see, like these are pretty much almost looking the exact same, maybe a little bit different. The one thing I am going to change is how orange the skin tone is. It's a little bit too orange for me. And like I said, with the LXC in the last video, you will definitely see that the tones of orange are very prominent, and I'm not a big fan of that. Some people can pull it off great, but for me, I'm just not a fan. So I'm going to go to where it says saturation, and I'm going to turn down the orange. Not too much where she's like ghostly pale, but I don't want it to be anywhere near, you know, where it was before. So maybe like a +4? Is that kind of where we were at? Oh, with this one it doesn't show me because I opened it up in Lightroom, or I saved it in Photoshop and opened it in Lightroom so I could have 2 images. But yeah, for the most part, I think that's, yep, +4 should be fine. So yeah, so guys, for the most part, that's pretty much how I edited this photo. If you have any questions, please let me know. But that's really just a quick edit, and then what you can do is if you like how this photo looks for the other ones, you can hit Command, and you can just pick all the photos that were, you know, based in the same light category where we were, and you can hit Sync, Synchronize, and then other than like the filters and stuff like that, you will have to redo again, but, you know, all light will be the same, so you still have, you know, the same kind of light source going on. I mean, it won't be anything crazy. You, like I said again, you will have to redo like the radial filter and the gradient filter because those don't transfer, but everything else does, like the color toning and all that stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will probably be doing a few more tutorials here coming up pretty soon. So if you guys have any suggestions or anything like that, comment down below. You can follow me on Instagram at Kayla Means Photography. You can follow me at Facebook at Kayla Means Photography, or you can find me on my website at www.kaylameansphotography.com, and I will chat with you later. All right, guys, have a great day.